Welcome sports fans to the first edition of the Sports Guys. Sports writers, myself, Jim Ramses, and Mike Hautemaki will be talking to you every week about the local sports scene and also some local college teams, state teams, and a little bit of the national as well. So I hope you enjoy it, and come back and look for us on virginiamn.com. I guess we picked a good week to kick off the show, Mike. A lot of activity. We got the girls basketball season is underway, and Mountain Iron Buell appears to be quite a powerhouse.
2 games in, I haven't seen them play yet, but so far they're averaging more than 90 points a game and giving up less than 20. I think most people expected them to be a pretty good team again this year, but it's a credit to their program that the last couple of years they've lost key players and are still able to just plug other people in there and not skip a beat. So you got them as a likely Section 7A contender again this year, and then there's also a couple of other local teams too that stand a chance of being pretty good.
Yeah, Northwoods are off to a good start. They had a big win over Little Fork Big Falls, and Destiny Villeben picked up her 1,000th career point, and Darby Youngstrom is right by our side. Though a lot of things expected of that team, so it'll be fun to watch. Hopefully there'll be a matchup in the playoffs sometime. That'll be fun to watch. And we also have boys hockey got underway recently too. Virginia MIB had a tough opener. They lost to Cloquet Esco Carleton 3-0. It seems like they've been struggling to find the net, and they had a few of their goaltenders have been out injured, so hopefully they'll have more success. They take on Little Falls tonight. Mike Hautemaki is going to head over there shortly. What do you expect in the game tonight, Mike?
I'm not sure because I haven't seen Virginia play yet this year. I don't know if their starting goaltender Lucas Murray is going to be back or not. I know he's dealing with a groin injury or something. So I don't know. We'll see. They do have some talent this year. And the other team, of course, is Evelyn Gilbert Mesabi East. They are coming off a couple of decent performances, one in the Jamboree against Greenway. And then they played the Raiders again on Tuesday and beat them 4-0 in Coleraine. Mitchell Huffman had a couple of goals in that game, and Brett Kivola, another one of their top players, is a blue liner, but he has shown over the last couple of seasons that he has some offensive ability. So they are back in action on Saturday afternoon against Wadena Deer Creek at the Hippodrome. 2 o'clock, I believe the puck drops.
Okay, and then the girls hockey team, they're hosting Princeton tomorrow also at 5 o'clock at the Hippodrome as well.
Boys basketball gets going next week, but tomorrow night we have the Iron Range Conference Jamboree. A bunch of local teams will be in action in that one. You have Mesabi East, Evelyn Gilbert, and Virginia. Check your Saturday Mesabi Daily News for the schedule of all the games. Any thoughts or impressions on what we might see there?
I guess Virginia, they lost 7 seniors last year to graduation, so they'll be definitely be a young team according to the coach, and they pride themselves on defense. They say that's going to be a strong point of theirs, and they return all IRC point guard Cade Stackpool, and also Cole Scadson, who had a lot of playing time last year, and we'll see what it brings. They should do well. They usually have a good program and usually do fairly well.
I'm looking forward to actually seeing what Mesabi East can do.
Okay.
They got one new kid from California. His name is David Wren, I believe. He'll be playing some guard for them. They also have the Radke brothers, the Reinish brothers, and Austin Mount back in the lineup. And I just talked to the coach yesterday, actually, Jeremy Fleming, and he thinks they'll be all right this year. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah, and just as a side note, the MIB boys and girls are going to be playing at the Target Center tomorrow. they've started doing that. I'm assuming to get used to the Target Center. They hope to play there in the playoffs. Then they'll both be taking on Big Fork down there at 10 a.m. for the girls and noon for the boys.
The big news in statewide sports on Thursday was the trade of Denard Span from the Minnesota Twins to the Washington Nationals. The response from fans, from some friends of mine on Facebook, hasn't been very positive, but I actually like the trade. It's kind of a good news, bad news proposition for the Twins. The good news is this kid they got from Washington, his name is Alex Meyer. He's a right-handed pitcher, 6'9", so he's a pretty tall guy, and he's a flamethrower. They've clocked him in the high 90s. The good news for the Twins is that he's a pretty high-quality prospect. The prospect lists that are going to be coming out pretty soon here will probably have him anywhere from the top 25 to the top 50 in all of baseball, so he is a quality prospect. The downside for the Twins is that he's only 22 years old, so he only has 1 year of pro ball under his belt. So odds of him being in the rotation in the next year are probably not very good, but you could see both him and Kyle Gibson, one of their other top prospects, by 2014. What did you think?
Yeah, my main beef with the trade, I guess, is just the Twins in general. They have a nice, extremely nice stadium, and you wonder if they're going to have a playoff quality team to fill the stadium. They saw some smaller crowds last year as their record went down and down. So I hope they make a few signings, so the fans know there's going to be a better quality team next year.
I guess I can see both sides of it. I mean, going into last year, they had a lot of money tied up in mediocre players. And baseball is not really a sport like the NFL where you can just have one or two decent drafts, cut a bunch of guys, and you can go from last in the division to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, baseball contracts are guaranteed, so they're tougher to get rid of. And I think the Twins, it might take a while for them to turn the ship around. It's not going to be overnight. But I think they're going about it the right way. They still got some contracts that are kind of weighing them down, mainly Joe Mauer's. But that's another topic for another show.
You don't want to get into that one?
Not right now.
We could do a whole show on that, Mauer and Morneau.
Yeah. But, I mean, you still have to have some star power to put people in the seats. But I think for a first step in getting rid of one of their high-profile players, Denard Span was the right move.
All right. There was also some bigger news on the sports scene also with Minnesota Wild. Even though they aren't playing, their goaltender Josh Harding was revealed that he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And he says he's going to keep playing, so we'll see how he can play through that and if it affects him in the long run. I don't know, you've been following that fairly closely, Mike.
I really, MS is an unpredictable disease. You don't know what it's going to bring down the road. I think he's taking it on with the right attitude. He's not giving up. He's not asking for pity or people to feel sorry for him. But at 28 years old, being a professional athlete, obviously, it's a tough break.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the good thing is the NHL is going through a lockout right now, and the diagnosis came at a time where it's not going to be a distraction with the team playing. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, the news will die down. People will get used to things, and the Wild can go forward from there and just monitor Harding's progress and see how he does if and when the league ends up playing again.
Yeah. Knock on wood that they come to their senses pretty soon and get an agreement, but we'll see.
The lockout, a lot of people are ticked off, obviously, and they're talking about boycotting the games and not paying for merchandise and things like that, just to show the league that they resent this lockout. It's not quite as easy for Minnesota Wild fans to do that because they went on the big spending spree during the off season, picked up Zach Parisi. How do you pronounce that anyway?
I say Parisi.
We'll have to get that figured out before the game start again. You got Zach Parisi, Ryan Suter, and some other moves that they made. Wild fans, I know a few of mine went out and bought some 10-game packages after the free agent signings, and obviously those have been no good. So, I don't know.
It's frustrating.
We'll see what the reaction is to Wild fans when they actually do start going again.
I think they'll pack the place if they win a few games right off the bat. They'll be packed and they'll be expecting the most. Stanley Cup or bust.
That'll about do it for this first edition of the Sports Guys. This first edition might have been a little rough around the edges, but as we get more used to doing this, we will topics will vary. We'll talk about what's ever happening in the local, national, regional sports scene, and hopefully you check us out. Our website is virginiamn.com. And we also are both on Twitter. I'm at Houts81, and Jim Romsis is at JimRom2012. See you next time.